Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the hockeythinktank.com, a website for all players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. We are bringing on one of the directors of player development with USA Hockey, Jason Guerriero. Jason is an awesome hockey guy. Him and I used to see each other a lot on the recruiting trail when we were both coaching college hockey. But Jace grew up in Long Island, New York, played his junior hockey at a couple different spots, but was the MVP of the North American Hockey League his last year before going to play in college, where he played at Northeastern University, where he is the 13th all-time leading scorer at Northeastern, led Hockey East in his senior year. After playing a little bit of pro, 6 years of it, he went on to coach at Holy Cross, Yale, Brown, and then back at Northeastern before now being the director of player development, or one of the directors of player development at USA Hockey. So we are pumped to have Jason Guerriero on the podcast here today. But before we do get over to Jace, let's bring on the talent of the podcast. One Jeffrey J. Hulavecchio. Vex, what's up today?
Not much. Wow. I'm glad you got through that before you had a coughing fit. Those of you watching on YouTube, Toph is dying right now having a coughing fit.
We're good.
He said, I need you to jump in because I am going to be coughing. And it sounds like a frog is stuck in his nose, throat, nasal region. But he got through it. Absolutely crushed it. I got to see Toph this weekend, actually. We had our grandfather's memorial, which was unbelievable. What an unbelievable time. Emotional, a lot of stories flying around. The Wesley Snipes one, that was legendary.
That was
Wesley,
incredible.
That guy got me. We're not going to go into detail, but it's just, a lot of good stories about Grandpa. Guy was an absolute beauty, and it was a good time had by our whole family.
Yeah, man, it was good to see everybody. It sucked. So for all the listeners, like, I'm battling pneumonia right now. It's one of the most fun things that I've ever been through, to say the least. And so, I didn't get the chance. Like, I was kind of in and out. I didn't have the capacity to really do a lot of talking and stuff like that. So it really stunk not being able to share a ton of stories or, get too close to people and things like that. But yeah, we remembered a great human, to say the least. We miss you, Grandpa. And dude, by the way, that picture that you had up on Instagram of you and Grandma and Sophie, where
Wild.
she's like looking away from Grandma.
Wild.
100% she was looking at Grandpa. Like, dude, he was in that room. For those of you that don't know, like, this guy, Air Force vet, like one of the toughest human beings in the world. But you put a baby in this guy's hands and like he just absolutely melted. Like, nothing made him happier than being able to like hang out with like little kids. And so that picture on Instagram, man, of Grandma holding her, and she's kind of looking off to the side, and it was like the biggest smile you had ever seen of her.
Ever, bro.
You know that was Grandpa, like, doing his like thing.
And what's so cool is, like, I was so excited to have Grandma hold her, like, like have some time. It was just us sitting with Grandma, my wife, my daughter, and my mom, and Grandma, obviously, and gave Sophie to her, and almost immediately she smiled at Grandma, and then she like looked up over around me, like over here, biggest smile, and she starts laughing. And it's all the parents out there. Like, this is literally the first time my daughter's ever laughed. She's 6 weeks and a day old. She'd never laughed before, and it was like she was just looking off into the distance, not at Grandma or I. So when we looked at the picture a few hours later driving home, I was like, holy shit, Grandpa, there you are. So that was really, 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 really cool. And I'm gonna get that framed, that's for sure.
Oh, that's a frameable one. No question.
Yeah, pretty cool.
No question.
Pretty
that
cool.
That might be a tattoo on your?
Honestly, we all got tattoos. Toph got or did you get it yet? Or
I
not, 'cause
didn't.
you're sick?
No, because
He's
I couldn't
about to.
put a needle in me with ink when my immune system was being battered by this pneumonia thing. So
Yeah.
I will. I'm gonna go in, I think, with my sister
Yeah.
and my brothers at some point in the next couple of weeks and get it.
And shout out to my amazing client who I had told that morning. I worked with them, her and her son, the morning that I was driving to Chicago last Friday, and was just telling her, hey, you know, we're all getting our grandparents' address tattooed on us. This really cool picture that somebody took, and gonna show grandma it to memorialize grandpa. And my client paid for all of our tattoos, which was super, super cool. So yeah, by the way, yours is paid for. So just so you know, thank you to I don't want to say her name because don't want to. She wouldn't want that, but thank you. You're awesome.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Unreal.
Cool.
You know what else is awesome?
Hockey.
Yes. Yes. But also our Hockey Think Tank community.
Hey,
we have our next guest.
Woo!
We have our next guest that will be hopping on with our community members. So last month we had Brandon Dorado, head coach of University of Michigan, that came on and answered some questions and talked with our community group. And our next is going to be none other than one of the head honchos at USA Hockey, Bob Mancini. Bob Mancini is going to be the next community guest. He's been on our podcast twice. Both of those episodes were two of the most downloaded ones that we've done. Did not spare any hard questions in asking Bob about some of the things that everybody wonders about what's going on within the walls of USA Hockey. So really excited to have Bob on there. That's going to be towards the end of November. And yeah, man, our hockey community is awesome. Dude, we have 160 members in there already. We don't market it honestly that much, but it's just been a lot of fun to provide extra content through podcast stuff, like the 10 questions that we do with all of our guests, to whiteboard explanations, hockey type stuff. Jeff does some off ice type stuff, sports psychology Sundays. Like it's been a really cool value add. And so on top of having these guests come on to be able to interact with the people in our community, like NAR and like Bob's going to do towards the end of November. So go to community.thehockeythinktank.com. If you haven't already, you can join for a month. You can join for a year. Obviously, a little bit of a big discount if you do join for the year. And we just really appreciate everybody that does that. And you get to hop on and ask some questions to the one Bob Mancini. So,
I mean, this thing that we just started doing alone is honestly worth the price of the community, let alone all the other benefits you get and getting to meet all these people and ask questions and answer questions, and everybody's helping everybody. I got a ring too. It says love, right? That's the goal. But last month we had on Brandon Dorado, one of the winningest coaches in Division I college hockey over the last season and a half, two seasons. Like, this guy's coaching where everybody wants to go in Division I. We had him on, and our community members got to ask him anything they wanted to ask him. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, guys, this is such a great opportunity. And Bob Man Crush Mancini, that's what I'm gonna start calling him from now on. You guys don't even know, I do have a man crush on Bobby Mancini. I love this guy. I love his energy. I love what he brings. Sounds nice. Make it twice. We had him on the podcast twice. This is going to be third time. And for me, we can't have this guy on enough. I absolutely love what he brings to the table, and I'm excited. It's going to be a really fun community call when he joins.
100%. And now he has a son playing in the NHL, which is pretty cool. Defenseman for the New York Rangers. Actually watched a little bit of their game last night. Big boy, can really skate. Like,
really?
Oh yeah, got some skill. Yeah,
Bobo makes him big.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. And he is also now a teammate, colleague, let's say, of Jason Guerriero. This was an awesome podcast with Jay. I can't believe we've been 300 whatever episodes that we've done and we haven't had Guerriero on yet. Just an awesome hockey guy. Used to see him a ton in the rinks when we were coaching against each other and recruiting and stuff. Another smaller guy. And so him and I would, we'd rub elbows with each other around the same height, which was nice. But just an awesome hockey player, a great hockey mind, such a value add for USA Hockey, getting him in there now after his college coaching career. And yeah, man, he's the man. And a lot of really good stuff on this episode where we talk about being a smaller player and how to succeed. talk about USA Hockey a little bit and some of the good stuff that they're doing to help promote the sport and to help make everybody better. And our mission here at the Hockey Think Tank, very similar to USA Hockey's mission, trying to make the game a better place. And so it's really cool to talk shop with him and not many more passionate hockey guys. So really excited about that. And you guys are going to love this episode, Avex.
100%. I mean, you look at his numbers, his career numbers are just insane. They're
Not
nasty.
terrible.
Yeah. And I would specifically love for you guys to listen when I ask him something to the effect of like, so what's coming up on the horizon here with USA Hockey? What do we focus on? What's the new stuff? I really hope you guys like that segment.
We talked a lot about that.
Little bit of validation for the old Tovsky and Jehu Lebecchio son. So you're gonna hear a lot of things that you've been hearing for years if you listen to this show often.
There we go. All right. Well, let's get over to Jace. Before we do, we have some people to thank. First, want to thank the title sponsor, IceHockeySystems.com. These guys are the absolute best. It's the best website out there for all of your coaching education needs. Thousands of drills, whiteboard explanations from high-level hockey people, the ability to go in, draw your drills up, send them out to your team, build drill libraries. You can get this for every single coach within your organization, as we have partnered with them to do an associations platform. Also, by the way, new co-owner, Daryl Belfry, one of the smartest hockey guys in the entire world. So he's adding all his value to Ice Hockey Systems now as well. Daryl is the most, or maybe not the most. If he's not the most, he's in the top 3 downloaded podcasts that we've done. Skills coach to guys like Austin Matthews, Patrick Kane, like
ever heard of him?
Yeah. So go to IceHockeySystems.com today. Look up the associations platform, guys. Get this for every single coach in your organization. Vex.
Want to say thank you to Train Heroic. Train Heroic is the unbelievable platform, guys, that I am currently training USHL, NAL, NCAA teams, ACHA teams, young teams, kids, high schools all over the country and North America. They are the amazing app that allows me to do it. Cannot thank them enough for creating this unbelievable platform where I get to send videos, demonstrations, everything. Every workout is tracked. Every exercise is tracked. Every weight lifted is tracked, and I can see it all as the coach. So massive thank you to them. If your team is looking for quality training at an extremely affordable price with access to me, Zoom calls every month. I do this for every team I work with. Please reach out to me. I'm here to help. I love this stuff. It's been a really fun project for me getting to work with these teams all over the country that were going to CrossFit before I started working with them. Also, I want to say thank you to Cure Nutrition CBD company I'm with. You guys hear this every episode. I am a massive proponent for plants over pills whenever possible. I've been taking CBD since 2017, 2018, my last year playing pro. Absolutely love it. Absolutely believe in it. Keeps my brain healthy. Helps me recover from my physically and mentally strenuous days and having to talk to my co-pilot here multiple times a week. So just kidding. Tough love you. You can go to curenutrition.com, use my discount code GMBM, or reach out to me and please ask questions about it. I love helping people learn, the things that I've learned to help keep me healthy and perform at a high level since the womb, basically. So reach out. What up?
In the womb. There you go. Also want to thank HeliosHockey.com. Just an unbelievable product out there, guys. And I know just like so many of our listeners have used our discount code to get Helios. And it's because it's an awesome product. And just the feedback that we've gotten from you guys on it, we continue to want to partner with them, and it's been great. So it's a sensor that you put in your shoulder pad that when you start moving, it starts going, and it gives you real-time feedback and data, especially on things like your stride and your stride mechanics and what they like to call a hustle score. It also syncs up. The Game Changer syncs up with the video, whatever video you're using, whether it's Live Barn, whether it's your camera, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad. Just like I said, when you start moving, it starts going, and you get your shifts cut up for you directly right after the game, right on whatever camera you are using. Absolute game changer. We do have a discount code with them, and if you use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, you will get 20% off your Pro Annual or your Pro 24-month subscription. Or if you want to get this for your entire team, get a huge discount by going to helioshockey.com/teams and use that coupon code ThinkTank as well. helioshockey.com. Lastly, Crossbar. Unbelievable product, guys. And I know so many youth organizations that are switching over to Crossbar, and it has been an absolute game changer / dare I say lifesaver for so many people that are running youth organizations. And so Crossbar is basically an end-to-end software solution that helps you manage the operations of your club all in one place. I've spoken to multiple hockey directors that have made the switch over from Sports Engine or other places, and it's just like, it's not even fair. It's not even fair how incredible this is, guys. And so what does it have? It's got a modern website design, so your website looks really nice and clean. You can do registrations for your season or for things like drop-ins or clinics or lessons right away, right on the website. It's got a club scheduler that can help you with your schedule, 5-star communication app, so you can communicate with everybody in your club, financial tools and reporting, volunteer facility management, all those kinds of things. Basically, it streamlines the operations for your club, which is a very, very difficult thing to do. And so go to crossbar.org today to find out more. But I'm telling you, like if you're a hockey director or if you're on a board, you're going to want to check this out, crossbar.org. And Vex, since I'm not much of a talker right now, how about you thank our awesome listeners before we head over to Guerrero?
Let me choke down this turkey bacon I've been eating while you've been talking, and it's delicious. Jenny O's, they do not sponsor us, but they're delicious. We want to thank all of you. The reason that Toph and I have been doing this podcast, oh man, it's almost exactly 6 years, right? 6?
Yeah.
Almost exactly 6 years. I don't know. Do you remember the exact date?
I can get it, but it's going to be the next episode. It'll be 6 years.
Wow. So
and we're bringing in a big gun for it.
A big, heavy hitter. All right. Been almost 6 years, 6 years Eve. The reason we do this is because we love helping people in the hockey world. We love every single email, every single DM. Anytime somebody reaches out and says, hey, love the episode on blank, or, oh, I started following blank so-and-so because you had him on the show and it's taught me so much. Like, that's why we do this stuff. We love helping people. We love trying to make the game of hockey better because that's been our whole life. Both Topher and I, our entire lives have been hockey. We're trying to get back to the game, and the better that we do on this show and the more you guys share it, the bigger we can get, the more people we can help. So please continue to share the show. Be a bro, share the show.
There you go. And with that, every like, comment, download, rating, and follow, anything you can do for us, we so appreciate it. And yeah, guys, you're going to love this episode. Jason Guerriero, an unbelievable hockey mind. So without further ado, here we go with one of the directors of player development for USA Hockey, Jason Guerriero.
Nothing gets me more excited than the thrill of the beginning of the fall hockey season. From the NHL on down, there's nothing better than competing with your teammates to start the year. Personally, I'm pumped for this year's quest for the Stanley Cup. Last year's season was incredible, and this one seems to be even better at the start of the season. And when I'm looking for tickets to see games live, I always use the Game Time app. I've used this app to get unreal deals all the way leading up to the game. It's really user-friendly and makes getting tickets so much easier through a new feature called Game Time Picks. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I'm going to be in Boston next month and use Game Time to get tickets to go see a game when they're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets to see some former players that I have. It was so incredibly easy to use because it's curated to my wants and even customizes your spot for you throughout the game. On the app, you can get a panoramic view from your seat. In the app, before you even buy it, there's a lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticket industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. The quest for the Stanley Cup starts now. Pucks dropping on the 24-25 season, and get in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. All available lines and odds from DraftKings Sportsbook app are for upcoming games. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved.
We are so excited to have on this episode of the podcast. He's out in the New England, Mass area. We got USA Hockey ADM manager, Jason Guerriero. Jason, how you doing today, man?
Good. Excited to be on. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, Vex, like this guy should have been on like 5 years ago. I don't know why we haven't had today on.
I thought you were going to have me on because we're both the same height. So I figured it was like, that was a clear in, but
I'm just a little jealous, Well, as with all of our guests, the first thing that we want to know, just to kind of introduce you to everybody, you grew up out on Long Island. What was it that led you to fall in love with the game out there at your age? I have to imagine it's right when their dynasty was going in the early 80s. But what was it that got you to fall in love with the game out there?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, so I played street hockey. So my father, like, he never played hockey. He was into boxing, and it just kind of like street hockey. He loved the sport. And eventually someone that he worked construction with was like around my 8 years old was like, hey, you should try ice hockey with him. And we started on like a pond and tried out for a mite team. And, there was like mite A, double A, and triple A at the time. And then there was rec league, and I went and tried out, and we didn't come for much money, but my dad was like, at the time was like, Jay's not going to make the AAA team or any of these travel teams. Like, we're going to be rec. It's perfect. Long story short, we try out. My dad's looking at the thing, doesn't even recognize it, just leaves, and then gets a call. And on the ride home, he said to me, basically, I don't know how I'm going to tell your mother this. And I was like, what? He's like, you actually made the AAA travel team. He's like, I don't know we're going to be how to do this. And from basically there, I started with PAL and just kept going through and played for the Long Island Gulls. But what kind of shaped me as a hockey player, got me pretty much to this point, I give a lot of credit to Rich Hansen, who's a ADM manager for the Atlantic District, who I played hockey with.
Great human.
Yeah, great guy. His dad was my coach from my second year of mites all the way up until I left and played juniors. So I had a guy that his dad, who played in the NHL, played at a high level. And then my U15U and 16U years, I had John Tonelli and Rich Hansen as coaches. We won the national championship at the 15U at the time. So like those two guys shaped the path for me as a hockey player, because I don't think I would have been the player I was without that kind of coaching and development, which takes us full circle to right now to what I'm trying to do with USA Hockey, right? Developing players. So it's a pretty cool path that I took. But that's kind of like the backstory of where I started. And I was an Islanders fan. My dad was an Islanders fan. And then, fast forward again, college hockey, I end up committing to Brown. John Tonelli's one of his second marriage, and one of his kids to Brown, and both of them are there. So it's pretty cool how it's all connected.
It's such a small world.
It is. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely insane. Well, let me ask you this, like getting the chance to play for Richie's dad and for Tonelli, like
what were some of the things, if you guys are a Long Island team that are winning national championships at that level, and they kind of had a similar crew from, you said 8U or, second year mites all the way up. What were some of the things that they did? Like what made them such good coaches? What made them get you guys to fall in love with the game? Like what was in the special sauce for those guys?
Yeah, I think it was funny. It was a great dynamic of the two coaches too, because John was as a player, and at that time, he's really soft now. He'd probably kill me for saying that, but he's a great guy. But at the time, he was the old school, hard nosed, younger kids. Didn't deal with the parents at all. That was one of the first conversations he had with us, was like, if your parents talk to me about hockey, you will no longer play for this team. And then we all kind of paused in the locker room, and he's like, now go tell your parents. And we all came back in. So there was that element of him and his personality. And then there was Richie's dad that was very personable with the players, and like, it was a great dynamic. But the things that they did were just very, like, everything was game like. And I honestly remember it. And there's a lot of things I don't remember about my youth hockey, but everything we did, like, was game like, with games, like small games. It was just, everything was teaching us how to play, like, without the puck, the awareness, like constantly looking around and making plays. And we had some on that team. I think if I went through it, I remember going through it with Richie, actually. I think there was like 12 guys on that team in 1996 that ended up playing Division I hockey. And at the time, like, like, no one's, I'm not thinking about that. No one's getting recruited. It wasn't even a thought. I didn't think about getting recruited until I was 20. But a lot of those guys went on. Like Ryan Vesey was on that team. There was a lot of guys, and he kind of just developed us and made us all better players as individuals, and then kind of obviously brought it all together. But yeah, I just felt like we were doing things that other kids weren't doing.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, in a good way, because they both played at the highest level. And that doesn't ultimately mean you're going to be a good coach or a youth coach or NHL coach. I mean, you saw it with Wayne Gretzky, right? Tried to coach an NHL team, and it just didn't work because he's Wayne Gretzky. But they were perfect, and they developed all of us, and we all had successful careers.
Yeah, I have to imagine that. I had a similar team like that in Chicago, and the practices were the same. All games, play without the puck. Like our coach, the maddest that he would get with us is if we passed the puck and didn't move. Like, that was his thing that he hated the most, and would stop practice. He was a Russian guy, made you do a somersault, like, and but it's so important. That's why, like, even today, going in and with what you're doing, these guys were doing this 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and we're way ahead of the curve at that time. So, like, looking back at what you were doing at that age and now what you're doing with USA Hockey, like, it's really good to have had that experience and living it, and seeing how much success you and all the other kids on your team had, and now being able to actually talk about it and try to educate people, huh?
Yeah, it's just it's literally like spitting image of what USA Hockey and what we're trying to teach, the country, and make our players better. But some people believe or want to go down their own path, and they think they know what's right. But obviously, the things that USA Hockey is doing right now and has done for many years, there's research behind it. It's not just a bunch of us in a room saying this is what we think should be done. Like, there's a method to the madness, and it obviously works. And I'm, like you said, I'm kind of proof in the pudding that we were doing that stuff without even knowing we were doing it, and it worked.
Yeah.
Is there anything that, you say you were doing that back then? Obviously your coaches were ahead of the times. Is there anything right now that you're like, I think this could be the next big thing in development, or anything you're working on, or you've seen, or you have an idea, like, small area games, unbelievable, now everybody's doing it? What's that next thing? Is there anything you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there absolutely is. And we've talked about, it's funny. So I was hired on September 11th. So I'm fresh into it, about a month and change here.
Congrats.
But I immediately went out to Colorado, and we had 5 days of meetings, just talking about player development. Like, what can we do better? What is it that's working? It was really eye-opening for me to see how this all works at the ground level and what we're trying to provide for our country. Right. And the one thing that I kind of saw as a college hockey recruiter and coach was if we lined up all of our players, like, at the higher level, like even U16U and 18U and prep, and you line them all up on the goal line, you said, all right, sprint to the red line. They all look the same. Like everybody can skate, everybody's fast, everybody can go. But now you start to put a puck into play and you start to play the game of hockey. Now kids get weeded out. I mean, how many times have you been in a rink and you watch a kid in warm-ups, you're like, ooh, that kid looks good. He passes the eye test, right? Then the game starts and it's like, ooh, he's a hot mess. I mean, I've played with those players where I'm like, man, this guy played in the NHL. And then I'm on the ice with them and I'm like, oh, this is why he didn't stay in the NHL. Like, so what we're trying to get the message across here right now with USA Hockey is talking about scanning. And that's head up, right? How many drills? I mean, I'm guilty of it that we do that is just a drill. It has purpose, like could be a breakout, but we're not talking about scanning and looking around constantly. I mean, the best players, the elite players that separate themselves, like you watch, like when you don't have the puck, which is majority of the game, which you guys know, you need to be constantly looking around, which USA Hockey, the word we're using is scanning and looking around what's going on. I mean, the number one thing that requires scanning, and this is all research based off of the last 20 years or 8 years, but a gentleman that's done it with soccer for USA Hockey is passing. Like that is like, think about it. Like I get it. I gotta know where I'm going and move it. And number two would be puck retrievals, coming back on a puck, like looking around. And then where the majority of the game is played is on the walls, right? So, I mean, we know that you got to protect the middle, and on the walls would be number three. So like, think about how many times kids just go into the corner, but before they go into the corner in a battle, like you're not looking. And then like, you think about it, if I look over my shoulder, but just for that quick second, I already know that the chair is back over there. So now I can do what I'm going to do. And then I can throw it or make the play, where now we go in. And then by the time we get up, we don't know what's going on or we're not looking. So that is the constant reminder that right now, what I've been talking, I actually presented that presentation on scanning and why it works for some. And like I said, for playing without the puck, it's everything. Like you think about, I did the PK at Northeastern, and I'm thinking about the PK, about our guy in the middle that's got to protect that seam. Like he's constantly has to be aware of where that other flank is moving. He can't just be like, oh, let me look. So that is like that's the big initiative right now for USA Hockey. And it's what I believe in too. Like that's what made me as a player, was constantly being told, like, keep looking, don't keep your head down. I mean, there's times when you're going to have to look down, but you got to play with your head up all the time if you want to be that elite player. And part of it, sorry to keep talking here, is the skills, right? The skills coaches. There's some great skill coaches, but we're just doing these drills with our head down and just constantly looking at these cones without any purpose of actually looking up. So I will do those same skill drills with my kids, my 10U and my 6U player, a skill drill, but on the side of the drill, I'll have cards behind my back, and they're little kids. You just trick them. They don't even know what they're doing, but as they're having fun. And as they're doing these same skill drills, I'll throw a card up real quick and put it back behind my back. And they got to, as they're going, tell me what color it was, and then keep doing the drill. And then I'll throw another color up. So it's getting them to look, it's getting them to talk, and it's also getting them to see the color quickly, because in a game, I might see the color of the jersey off to the side. And that might just indicate it right there. I know he's on my team or he's not. So
this is a hold my beer moment for all of our listeners right now, because we started this podcast almost exactly 6 years ago. And this is everything that you just said are the three of the main things that we talk about non-stop. I signed with the Bruins, first game in the AHL. I'm doing exactly what you said not to do. I'm going into the boards, full speed, getting murdered from behind, because in pro hockey, you can hit from behind. You're actually pretty much allowed to hit from behind, unlike college. And I got guys on the bench like, hey, bro, why don't you like look around before you get to the block? So A, you don't get murdered, and B, when you do beat the guy, you know what you're going to do with it instead of letting him close the gap and just push you off it, and we're turning it over and going the other way. So obviously all of our listeners right now, you probably got some big smirks on your face like Toph and I do, because this is pretty much all we talk about. Today I was at TPH Academy, and I've been saying for at least 10 years, the next frontier in training. So I run an off-ice training company, work with thousands of players a year. What's up? I've been saying for 10 years, the next frontier in training for all athletes, but especially hockey, is their eyes. My whole life, no coach ever, and it's the same thing you're talking about. And I said this to the young kids this morning, because we did a drill where I didn't coach them to look around the room as they did it, but I always do. And I wanted to see who did it. And I only had like 4 out of 20, which, okay, I need to talk about it more. That's on me, that they're not just instinctually now. That's part of how they live. But I said almost the same thing, guys. As you get older, doesn't matter if you are the fastest, strongest, biggest savage off the ice and even on the ice. If you cannot play with your eyes up, you will not make it to the higher levels of hockey. It does not matter how strong, fast, how good of a shot you have, because you won't be able to play the game of hockey. The game of hockey, especially at the higher levels, is so much about, move the puck quick, jump in a hole. And to do that, you have to know where everybody is. You have to be able to break out quickly under pressure. And those things that you said, like I can't even explain to you how much I love it.
And it's not even just like the scanning. It's like, you've got to remember, like, you come around the net and the DC's the wing, and it's like, yeah, I got him open, but yeah, good. You're looking there and your head's up, but it's important. And this is something that, Ken Martell's been doing a lot of studies on this with USA Hockey. It's like, and it makes total sense. Like, look far first. Like, look out what's going on.
Map
you
the
know
ice.
that's there. And when I was talking to the Michigan High School Coaches Association, it's like when you're driving your car, if you just stare and you're in traffic, if you just stare at the car in front of you and he brakes, like you're probably going to hit him. So you've got to like be scanning and looking out to see what is happening. So when something does happen, I can adjust. Right. So
That's a great metaphor.
It's very simple when you think about it, but it's the reinforcement of coaches at the younger level of just constantly telling them with every drill, they've got to be looking. Like that's what it is. It's a constant reminder, like to the point now with my 6-year-old, and it'll come, he constantly now just stops his feet because he's just looking and he's looking. And it's like, all right, I've already programmed him that he's got to be looking, and everybody's like, oh, he's always making passes. And I'm like, all right, I got him. Now we got that. Like, let's keep building off of it. And yeah, if he figures it out and he can skate and puts it all together, who knows? He's 6, but it's so easy.
NHL.
But it's so 5'6". But it's so easy for these kids to pick up on it
earlier.
Earlier, obviously.
Earlier.
Like young kids can pick up a new language at a young age, but it's the constant reinforcement of doing it over and over and over and over with every drill.
So true. I remember having like a heated argument with Adam Nicholas like 5 years ago on this. And I was all about peripheral vision, like how important peripheral vision is. And he was like, no, man, it's scanning. And I'm like, no, like it's peripheral vision. Like the more you can see out in the sides, like people do, blah, blah, blah. Yep. And he was like, nah, it's like, how do you get peripheral vision? You get it from moving your eyes and scanning, blah, blah, blah. And like now to see all the research that's coming out on how important scanning is. And I think soccer was probably at the forefront of it.
So that's where like this research is coming from, and the gentleman that USA Hockey's worked with. And I can send you his information after, like all the stuff that he's done. And even it's unbelievable. And it's like, again, talking about just like
best players in the world, like are the best scanners, right? Like if you look at the Messis and you look at like all, I don't know soccer players that much, but I know Messi, like they're all the best scanners. And I would imagine that it's very similar in hockey. Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you see that sick play he made? He's like, yeah, he sees all that. Like, it's not just like, oh, he's like, people are like, it's a God-given talent. It's like, okay, like maybe he's got, like, I get the McDavids, there's freaks out there, the way they skate, but he also has to scan. He's also got to make plays, right? Like, yeah, he's a freak and he can skate, but at a young age, I bet you for sure he was constantly, without even knowing it, he was constantly constantly looking around, and some kids just do it naturally, and some want to stare at the puck because they feel more comfortable.
Yeah. I want to take it a step further too, because I think this is actually very relevant to this conversation. And I feel like for all the kids listening, like what we're talking about is so incredibly important to the development of hockey sense and injury prevention. I think that's another big one, because you're aware of your surroundings and stuff like that. But I think one of the biggest detractors to what we're talking about is get off your damn phone. Like if you're just looking at your phone all day, and we had this woman, Larissa Mills, on our podcast probably like 3 or 4 months ago now, and she was just spitting some truth about how basically phones are making us worse athletes. I would think that like a big part of that is, like you mentioned, the car analogy, and Kenny Martell saying like look bigger.
Yeah.
Well, if we're on our phones all day, like, and I even think of like a college athlete, like it's really important not to be on your phone, because now our vision is so narrow. And that's probably making us worse scanners at the end of the day. Is there any research to that, or does that make sense too?
No, it makes sense. I mean, I don't know the research to the phones. I mean, there's other research on the phones of like, why people aren't in the present. And everybody wants to jump all over the place. It's because we have the ability to just, nope, don't like it, go to the next thing. So there's research on that. But I mean, it makes sense. You're just constantly looking down. I mean, you think about it, survival, like the animals, right? The cheetah, the gazelle, like they are constantly scanning their entire lives for survival. Plain and simple. Like they have to, or they're meat, like prey or predator, like it doesn't matter. So I'm not saying that that's the level that we need to be as hockey players.
Be a cheetah.
But be a cheetah, or just be really good at scanning it as a gazelle and live a healthy life. And but the hard part, why this is such a problem, I think, is because as a country we have so many youth hockey players, right? I don't know the number. We should be dominating the world spectrum of hockey. When you think about it, we have more hockey players than everybody. But as a recruiter, I started to see, and I think other coaches would agree, is that are we getting dumber as hockey players? And I don't mean that negatively. It's just the truth of like, there's not many hockey players out there. Yes, they all can skate. They all work hard. But overall, like there's the same amount of youth hockey players in the state of Mass as there are in Sweden. If we took our best players in Mass and at 17 years old and played Sweden's best, I'm pretty sure Sweden would win. And nothing against Mass. I'm helping with that district. But as an individual working for USA Hockey, it's like, what is the problem here? Like, how do we fix this?
Well, for me,
there's a lot of things, but I think the awareness of being a hockey player will produce more hockey players.
I think it's just we say what we want. We say what the end result is that we want. Hockey players, they can play the game. But we train them off the ice, in practice, not to do what we say we want as our end result. Now, like you had touched on very quickly, and Topher and I have talked about this at length, so I won't go too far into it, but all these skills coaches and some of these skills coaches who maybe shouldn't be teaching skills to people because they don't understand what really makes you better at hockey, and it's around cones, it's around the stupid thing with the stick, and those all have a time and place, but they're allowing every rep to be with the eyes down. You are hurting that player. You are hurting them. They might be able to be the best 10-year-old or 12-year-old because their hands work better. The way that they move their body around fake players is going to be better. And at 12, that will help them. And then as they develop strength and speed off the ice, and they're also not working on being able to move and have coordinated control over their body while expressing speed, power, and strength, we're not working on it off the ice either. So again, now you're hammering home, working really hard and really fast and really strong, but you have no idea what's happening around you. And when you try to incorporate any type of skilled or coordinated movement off the ice, they can't do it anywhere near at that same speed. So like you said with your son, he stops his feet. I see it all the time. Coaches think, oh, faster is better, and around the cone, stick handling sexy and fast is better. When guys, it's not, because I know, because I lived this. I was the faster, the stronger, the more powerful. I turned myself into that through my work ethic, but I always looked down at the puck. When I got to the higher levels of hockey, it was way harder for me than it should be with all the attributes that I had. And it's because at a young age, I wasn't doing these things with my eyes. And I started doing it, a few years into my pro career because of a brain injury I had, and everything changed for me. The game was easier. I put myself in bad positions to get murdered way less often because I wasn't just looking down at the puck, or I was looking at the car in front of me. Great metaphor, not seeing the entire picture. And this is what I do with athletes now in every sport, is teaching them how to integrate this stuff off the ice so that when they get on the ice, it's easier and better. I see it every day. Coaches, the reason I'm going on this tangent and spending so much time, stop your practices. You're saying, I want you to play with your eyes up. And then as soon as they lose the puck in practice, you're yelling at them. I would much rather, and when I coached U16 and U18 AAA, my first 2 years retiring, I told my players constantly beginning of the year, I want your eyes up all the time. I will blow the whistle and we will stop, and everyone will do push-ups. If you're not doing that, we will stop every single time. And you're going to lose a puck, and I'm okay with that, because if we continue to do this day after day, week after week, in a month, in 2 months, the second half of the year, I guarantee you're able to play the game of hockey with your eyes up. And we went from 0-11 to 12-1-1 at the end of the year and ranked in the top 10 in the nation. And it was so obvious,
Yeah,
so coaches,
I mean, and those things
practice it.
That's where it's hard, because you also have parents. It's the old expression, Rome wasn't built overnight, right? So it's it's a process. It is what it is. And if you don't want to respect it and you want to think you're going to cheat it, and
you're not,
it's just not going to work. And I think the one thing that's really important about, Toph, you touched on it, it's in the presentation with scanning, and is player safety, right? When you think about it, the best players in the world, the elite players, when they do get hit, they know it's coming, because they know the hit's coming. The players, I think the research is the concussions are coming from unexpected hits. Well, that's coming from not being aware that I'm going to get peppered here, right? So that is another piece to, yes, we're trying to provide better hockey players, but also very important, a safety issue, right? How many kids, you're oh my gosh, he's coming across the middle, not even looking. And then there's a big hit and someone's oh, you dirty hit. It's well, we're allowed to hit. It's a contact sport, but that individual's been trained that it's okay to look down when I'm coming through the middle and I'm doing my stick handle through the cones. So that's another huge part that we're trying to reinforce it, because it's player safety. The best players in the world, when they get hit, they know it's coming.
So true. So incredibly true. Well, we that was a discussion. That was
heated. That was
great. I love it.
My favorite topic.
Vex was excited about that one.
Yeah.
It's officially the holiday season, which means we are all looking for those amazing deals on Black Friday and Cyber Monday that we can't find throughout the year. Except with Raycon, because with Raycon, you get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year. But that doesn't mean they're not having sales on Black Friday. Far from it. They're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering my viewers up to 30% site-wide. A Black Friday deal you appreciate every day? Raycon's everyday earbuds, especially if you haven't checked out their latest model, which includes plenty of new features that make them even more of a must-have for any audio lover. For example, they now feature a 32-hour battery life, multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once, and active noise cancellation. It's a feature that's a must-have for me on long flights since I travel a lot, but one that can be difficult to find at an accessible price point. Until now. Because there's another thing. Although Raycon's quality rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio, Raycons start at just half the price as the other guys. So they're already an incredible deal even before you factor in Black Friday and Cyber Monday offer of up to 30% off site-wide. Raycon's everyday earbuds are also available in a variety of vibrant colors, so you don't have to just have the standard issue white or black earbuds sticking out of your ears. You can even rock our signature royal blue color while you're listening to the Hockey Think Tank podcast. It's time to save big for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right. You'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/THPN.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1. Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/secure. Protect yourself now at aura.com/secure.
Another question I have for you, Jay. Obviously, you and I were not blessed with the vertical gene that my cousin on the other side of the screen was. Not your muscles, Jeff. I'm talking about height. As a smaller player, I like it. Like when I get the opportunity to have somebody on that's had the success that you've had in the game that have been as a smaller player. Because honestly, it's one of the questions that I get the most from parents. Is like, hey, my kid hasn't grown yet. Hey, my kid's pretty small. What are some tips that you have to, and a lot of times it comes down to confidence. Like the kids just aren't confident because of their size. But like, what is important to you as a smaller player in terms of the success that you had in the game? Habits, details, ways of thinking about the game, anything. What do you think what do you think smaller players should know to help them have success in the game?
Yeah, I think probably the obvious is like the compete level, right? Like the good
Little man syndrome.
Yeah. I mean, but the positive thing, and my dad said this to me when I was younger and I was like, I was just smaller. It is what it is. He's like, listen, like when you get on the ice, everybody recognizes the 6'4" kid, but they're also going to recognize the 5'6" guy. So right there, you're already being noticed. So you take that for what it's worth. So now, okay, can this little guy do it? Like, can he play? Can the big guy, is he going to be real? No, he's just, he's big, he's raw, people say, or whatever, kind of write him off. But being the little guy, if I was making an impact as a player, you start to get seen. It is what it is. Like I do it now. I go to a game and I watch. I'm like, oh, who's the little guy? Oh, look at the big guy. Look at the big defenseman. Now I already starting to watch to see what they can do. And now it's up to the recruiter, the coach to, what do you like? What do you need? But the competitive side of my game, and I think anybody that would ask you, and it's funny because my elite prospect says basically that I'm soft on there. And I would like to know who
I just read it.
What does it say?
It is, you can read it. But like, look at my PIMs in juniors. Like I fought.
Look at your numbers. Your numbers are unreal.
Like I fought like 12 times the 1 year in juniors. So like, there's no
12 times is a lot of fights.
Well, I had 100+ PIMs that year, I think, in juniors. But regardless, what I was getting at was that I always had that competitive edge that I was going to be a prick. And sometimes I get my teeth knocked in for it, but I made it very clear that I wasn't going to be denied wherever the game was being played. I wasn't afraid to go into certain areas. I wasn't afraid to fight. I wasn't afraid to block a shot. So I made that decision at a very young age that this is going to be my identity. Now, what else can I do? Right. I think it was just important that I surrounded myself with good coaches and good people. I was and this has obviously changed in our modern day of hockey and in general. It was either, if I wasn't playing well or whatever, it was either stay where you're at, get better, or quit. So I don't know what to tell you, Jay. Like, figure it out. Like, you've got to be that. Those are things. If you don't want to do anymore, quit. If you want to be better, find a way to get better. And those things are easier said than done, but it puts ownership on, young kids. And that's what that's what happened to me. I just was like, I want it so bad. And I had the drive. My parents, all they did was support. And it's on the individual. It's like my 9-year-old. Like, he likes hockey, but I don't push him because he just wants to do it for fun and doesn't do it and does town, and that's it. Where my daughter's an elite gymnast as a 12-year-old at a level 8, she has the drive. So there's a little bit of push, but there's no telling her it's time to go. If you don't want to go, like I said, quit. It's pretty simple.
I always say, like, in those situations, and I just ask players, do you want to be a hockey player or someone who plays hockey? Or are you a gymnast or someone who does gymnastics? Because there's a difference, and there's nothing wrong with either answer.
Of course.
But if you say, I want to be a hockey player, I want to take this as far as I can, whatever that means to you and your current skill level, going from house league to A or AA to AAA, trying to make juniors, trying to get a scholarship, whatever it is. If you want to do those things, you've got to be a hockey player, not someone who plays hockey. And there's a pretty big difference. And obviously, looking at your numbers, and guys, he played in the NA, the NAL, when it was the Viet NAL. I mean, if you're 100 points in the Viet NAL,
there was 12 teams in that league at the time.
Savages. I used to watch that league back then.
Tony Curtelli.
Yeah, my mom worked for the St. Louis Sting. I don't know if they were in that league when you were playing back then.
Yeah,
or not.
they were.
And I used to go to every game, and it was the Viet NAL. Like, you had to be a man to play in that league. And at your size,
Cam Jansen, the fighter, he was in that league at the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Killer.
And he can fight.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing in that league, and guys, you're talking to somebody who's had so much success in hockey. I would urge you to look up his elite prospects, but you heard about his size: 61 points in 48 games his first year in the NAL. It was his second year juniors. Then 83 and 52. Ew. MVP. Playing
we won the league. We won the Robertson Cup.
Unreal, man. Unreal.
I think I love what you said there, man. Like, the competitive aspect is always the first thing I tell people when what makes a good small player. Like, you have to have a bit of a screw loose, because so many other people are going to think, oh, if you're that size and somebody else is this size and there's a puck in the corner there, the bigger guy is probably going to win at the end of the day. I never thought that. And I always said F you to the people who thought that. And it was like a chip on the shoulder. It was like, I feel like even to this day, I have like a prove people wrong mentality. And I think a lot of that comes from the size thing, being cut from teams because of my size, like things like that. And so, just having that competitive spirit at the end of the day. And
it's got to, regardless of the size, but even like, if the individual doesn't have the drive, it's just not like, and again, like, that drive can take you just through high school and that's it. And you decide I'm done. Like, that's great. That's awesome. Like, but you've got to have, that individual has to have the drive, and it's got to come within the individual. There's too many times I've seen it, and coaching my kids where their parents are pushing them to go and do these things. That's just not going to work. I mean, I've seen it from when I was a kid. So 43 years old now, like, it just doesn't work. And those kids don't pan out because they're just doing something that they don't love doing. It's got to be, an everyday thing to you. And that's what it was for me. Like literally just was like, you want to play with your friends outside? I'm like, no, just shoot pucks. Like my dad thought I had like issues. And I'm like, no, I just love doing this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I didn't have friends, but that's what I had the drive. And I didn't know it in the moment. I was just, my dad says to this day, he's like, I would just watch you out in the street. And he's like, I never really told you to do any of this. And you just did it. And it's like, all right, well, now we support and you push a little bit, but yeah.
So true, man. I get the chance to talk to so many different parents and coaches with what we're doing with the Hockey Think Tank now. And the one thing I tell them is like, if your kid has a dream to play at that, like at the highest of levels, there's one consistency of all the players that I've been fortunate enough to coach and play with that have gone on to play at that levels. And that was, they all love the game. That's the one consistency. They all love to play hockey. So what kind of things can we do as adults to create environments where kids are going to absolutely fall in love with the game? I think that's one of the most important things that we can do, and just support. That's another thing. Like support your kid and their passion. If your kid, like, I think about that with my kids now, like if my kid's passion ends up being hockey, that's going to be so cool. Like so cool to be able to share that with them. If not, it's okay. We'll support them, whatever the passion is. And I'll my bank account will probably be a little bit better. Although gymnastics I've seen already is pretty damn expensive. I think every sport is at the end of the day.
Gymnastics is? Really?
Yeah, dude. Are you kidding?
What are the costs associated? Coaching? Or
Buddy, I don't know. I'd be driving around Ferrari if I was my hockey.
Well, Jace, you mentioned I want to ask you about getting into USA Hockey now. But you mentioned the North American Hockey League, and there is an absolute legend in the North American Hockey League that you played for in Tony Curtali. And he coached you in Texas. For all the older people that are or were involved in the game, years ago, Tony, and he's got some great stories. So I wanted to ask you what it was like playing for him, and if you had a funny story that you can share on the podcast, what that would be.
Yeah. So like, it was funny because I was actually in the USHL at the time before I went to Texas, and there was talks. I was in Dubuque. I got drafted by Dubuque, and there was talks that the team was going to go dormant, but they ended up not going dormant. They ended up folding for 2 years after I left. So Tony kind of just, I don't know how he got a hold of me, but one day he literally took a cab from New York City to meet my parents, and he drove in the cab all the way out to Long Island, New York, way out, probably about an hour and 20 minutes to get to my parents' house. And we have a small apartment, me and my other sisters and my parents. And he has dinner. My mom makes dinner. It's Italian, 2 Italians. And in the middle of the meeting, like us eating, he goes, "Jay, can you go for a walk?" So our apartment was small, so it's not like I could go somewhere. He clearly wanted to talk to my parents. So I look at my dad, like, "Is this okay?" My dad's like, "Go for a walk." Like, he told you, go for a walk. So I go outside, and then I'm outside just like, I don't even know what I was doing. I was 18 at the time. And I see Tony leaving, and he goes, "Great to meet you, Jason," and shakes my hand, and he got in the cab and was off. And I look at my dad, and I like kind of give him a look, and he goes, "You're playing for him next year." I said, "Okay." So that's how it started.
What happened?
I was going to say, what the hell did he say to your dad?
Don't cliffhang us.
No idea. I have no idea what happened. It was just okay. And so playing for Tony, though, he is a very intense guy, but not with his players. Like when he's coaching his players, like if you're in his circle, you're in it. If you're out, you are way out. Like he will go to the world's end for anything for his players. If they got in trouble, I mean, literally anything. He's the very, very loyal human being in that regard. When we all played for him, and Richie Hansen was there and played with them as well. And there was one time that we had 2 bench clears. No, we had 1 that year. We only had 1. Long story short, Tony got suspended for the rest of the year, which was like 30 games. Mark Frankenfeld, who was now the commissioner of the NA, was the assistant coach. So he was the other coach with me. A few guys got suspended, like 20 games, some 12. I think I got 8 games. So what happened was at the end of the game, this kid, Zabo, which I couldn't stand. I always wanted to fight him. He was my height, but he never wanted to fight because he knew I would. I think it was a Euro too. But at the end of the game, he cross-checked me in the back of the head and my helmet came off. And at the time we didn't wear any face masks. I didn't have to wear a face mask. And so, yeah, this is 2000, no face mask. What am I doing? No face mask playing junior hockey. No mouth guard. So it's at the very end of the game. So as that happens, I had a tough guy on my line named Mark Deitch. He just gets this kid and starts pounding him. So as that happens, someone tries to grab Mark's twin brother, Jason, who's also, there's wires touching that shouldn't be touching, jumps off the bench. And now it's just game on. So now it's bench is clear, disaster, woman's on, someone please call 911. No one can stop it. We're trying to rip their guys off of their bench. People are trying to hide. But the reason why Tony got suspended was because at that time we just had like someone that was videotaping the game that was a scratch. And you see, and I've seen the video, Tony looks up, the video's up there and he goes, buddy, cut the video. And the video just goes down.
No way.
So you can't see any more of the bench clear of like what was really happening of like, and you hear people, he's bleeding, like you hear people screaming. So he ultimately
so you could hear it, you just couldn't see it.
Oh yeah. You could hear people like, it was, thank God we were way tougher because I was like, I've been a part of other bench clears and I was on the opposite side of that where I got 8 stitches in my face and my dad's yelling at me because I wasn't fighting right. But that side, like Texas, we were tough.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Wow.
Cut the video.
Yeah, he literally looks up. He goes, his name is Buddy Peter. He goes, buddy, cut the video. And the video just goes, whoop.
Buddy Peters from Chicago?
Yep, Buddy Peters.
Oh my God. Wow, the hockey world is small. I played like Mike AA with Robbie, his brother. And his brother is like the New Jersey Devil, like the mascot.
Actually, you know what? Someone told me that was like, wait, I forget, maybe it was Richie Hansen actually, but
yeah.
But Tony, like he's a great guy, but he gets a bad rap. But because you're not in a circle, if you're in it, you're good.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Crazy story. Well, let's shift gears here because before we end, I do want to ask you about your time at USA Hockey now, and you spent a lot at the college level. We would be rubbing elbows at different rinks all over North America together. But we do a lot of stuff to support USA Hockey and your guys' mission. And just want to know kind of like what you've learned, because I just got elected to the board of AHI. It's kind of like the Illinois arm of USA Hockey, the affiliate. And I've learned a ton. Like I've learned a ton just from doing that kind of on the administrative side even. So want to know from you, being a couple months into the job, what are some of the things that you've kind of learned the most from being there kind of every day now?
Yeah, and it's funny. So this past weekend, I actually went up to Vermont and met the affiliate presidents of New England. So just to kind of say, like, because Roger Grillo had this job, and he now is with St. Louis and in Montreal. But he did a great job, and I just kind of wanted to keep an open mind and come into it and just see what is happening at the ground level, because I was the last 9 years, I've actually been the on-ice director for the boys for New England. So I've always done the district of when they get to us and then we send them to Buffalo, right? So I've done just that part of the evaluation and getting them there, but I wanted to kind of go down and up and see the volunteers and the presidents. So similar to what you're saying was like, oh, this is how it all operates. And that's been very eye-opening for me to see how it operates and the conversations that are happening and things that we need to do better. And I brought up, like, what can we do to make our district better? Like, what are we doing with our youth coaches? Are they getting the right messages? Are they delivering the practice plans that they should be delivering? Are they, just because, like, if I got a football practice plan and I said I got it and someone showed me, but then I go out and do it, what happens is, I'll go back to my old ways when I used to play football. I'll just do that. So now we're not teaching those kids the proper thing. So for me, I mean, it's going to be hard because there's so many clubs and so many teams out there, but I just want to try to make sure that the message that USA Hockey has developed and what we're doing works, and trying to educate people that kind of know what's going on, some that have no clue, and some that think they have all the answers, but just provide them with what does work and help. Like it's actually, like I said, a very rewarding job. And it's just, there's so much hockey out there and there's so much room for growth. And that's what's exciting for me, like getting back to the grassroots and helping with, hey, 6U hockey, like perfect. I'm good. Let's go. I'll show you exactly what we need to be doing. So ultimately those kids stay in the sport, not just, oh, I played and it wasn't fun. Like my 6-year-old plays for the Eagles. They play full ice. We don't play full ice games. We just do the practices because it wouldn't be fun for him. So you'll lose him in the sport, right? So there's certain things at each age level that we need to be doing and helping our coaches and helping our players so they, one, have fun. I don't sign my kids up for soccer because I think they're going to go play in Spain. Like I just sign them up because it's supposed to be fun. That's the same thing that we need to be providing with hockey. I don't sign my 2 boys up for hockey thinking they're going to play in the NHL. It's just, this is fun. That's what that's all they're thinking about. And that's what it should be about. And I think we get away from that in general at the younger age. And that's how we'll lose kids in the sports. And then it becomes such a demand that you have to do this and you have to do that. It's just, that's not the reality of it. Like,
Yeah.
So
What do you, I feel like the thing that's hurting our sport the most is just like the over professionalization and the adult ego. And it seems to be getting younger and younger and younger now. That is kind of sucking the life out of it for kids. And it's no longer fun that you talked about. Is that something that you guys, it's a really hard nut to crack because at the end of the day, like we live in a capitalist society and people can do, there's some parameters, right?
Yeah.
And there's rink ownership and there's a lot of different challenges to, what USA Hockey believes in and what USA Hockey values with the research that you guys have done on hockey and personal development. Do you see that as kind of like one of the biggest challenges too, just the over professionalization and kind of like the business type model that a lot of what youth hockey has become?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, it's very obvious that, I mean, it's money, right? Like, oh, well, I'm doing this. And then the parents have FOMO. It's like, well, they're doing the full ice thing. We got to do the full ice thing. And then I'm talking to parents and I'm like, listen, this is the research that's been done. This is what works. And this is what doesn't work. And I'm not saying that kids can't play full ice at a young age, but if that's the only thing you're doing, it's going to be very hard at some point. Like we've all seen the videos of like men's league guys playing on the soccer field. And they're like, ask them after, like, what do you think? And they're like, it wasn't fun. I touched the puck twice. It's like, well, yeah, well, we're the only sport that I can think of that plays full ice at younger ages where it's like a little kid that's 6, not going to play a full soccer field. Football, no. Baseball, no. Everybody, it's age appropriate. And we're so fixated on the business and what people are doing that, oh, now we have to do that. And just, it's the FOMO part. So yeah, I see a lot of it. I'm not going to change those ways, but I'm going to continue to educate and tell them what does work. Yeah. And if they want the help, I'm all skates, ears, hands.
Do you think that at any point it would make sense, and you can't speak for USA Hockey, I guess you can only speak for yourself, but somebody who works within USA Hockey, would make sense to be like, we're not going to allow AAA hockey until 10 or 12. Like Toph was talking to me the other day about an 8U AAA league tournament, and it's like
USA Hockey doesn't recognize that. They're like, screw it, we're going to AAU if you don't think that we can do it.
Joke. Like it's
there's certain things. Those are like the ins and outs that I'm still like hammering down to figure out. But it's like Toph said, like what can we do? Like like great. And we all know we've all played with those kids that were really good when they were 10, 12, 13, 14 years old. And we looked up to those kids. I was like, oh man, I want to be like him. And then it's like, I don't know if he ever played after or like, and that's fine, but we're not giving the kids the right resources and we're not developing them the right way to be the most successful players that they can be. Like we've literally domesticated our own kids how to play the game of hockey because we feel that this is the way to do it. So we just tell them this is how but it's like USA Hockey has a model that we're telling you or trying to guide you in the right direction to do this because it does work. We're not saying it's your kid's going to play in the NHL, but again, my wife's my wife's a cancer research scientist. So when anything has research and it's backed up by research, it's usually right. If there's research on it, right? So it's the same thing with this. Like there's research, it's shown that it's worked, and it's also shown that this doesn't work, right? So
yeah, that's actually, that's an interesting analogy, like research in the medical field to research in sports. Like if there's a newer and better way to cure cancer or help to cure cancer, you're probably going to want to do that rather than, we've been doing this for, as long as whatever.
And that's what my wife does. She does cancer research. So it's like, okay, like there's no like gray area with this. It's either black or white. This actually works. If you do this, it's going to help you. Again, I'm butchering her terms, but this is the research that I've been doing for the last 10 years. This works. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go over here and do this. Like, okay.
100%, man. 100%. What else have you learned? Like, what are some of the biggest things that you've learned since taking this role just about USA Hockey in general?
I realized that how many volunteers in USA Hockey play a huge, huge part in the big picture. Obviously, you have your, World Junior coaches and all these people, but every affiliate association have volunteers that volunteer their time all over to make their youth players better and are vested, treasurers, registers, everybody. And I've seen now, because I'm trying to reach out to everybody, I'm like, there are so many volunteers. And I knew that before, but I'm just impressed how big of a, network USA Hockey has. And honestly, like being there for those first, it was day, 8 on the job and being in Colorado, seeing how passionate everybody really is. It's not like, it's just, we're going to come eat. Like everybody is like, really wants to make a difference in our youth hockey players. And it's not something where it's like, all right, we're going to make a difference right now. And we're going to see the effects of it. But it's like, if we can figure out right now the scanning piece and we're teaching and we reinforce that to everybody, maybe in 10 years, we have 9 guys in the first round from Massachusetts. Well, this year we only had 2. Like that's where we want to be as a country. Like we want to be that much better. Like right now we're just spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks because we have the numbers. Like, we can be better. And I just really in awe of how USA Hockey operates and how much they care about our youth hockey players and our youth coaches.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like doing the thing at A-High, you realize, and unless you're in it, and I like, even with my work with the hockey think tank, like volunteers, man, like they deserve so much, like the time and the effort and the sacrifice that so many people make around our country and all over the world, really. But
it's amazing.
It's we wouldn't have a sport if it wasn't for volunteers that are really making the game go right. And so, that's awesome. Well, Jace, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was amazing. We're going to keep you on here for a little 10 questions that'll be housed in our hockey think tank community. But really, really appreciate your time and keep killing it with USA, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.